I'm here with Vinod Puri. Vinod, today I saw you chatting with Vishy Anand, and I saw that there are a lot of memories related to it. I got to know about it. Could you share a bit about yourself? You were a very talented chess player when you were growing up. Is it true?
I actually was fortunate enough to win the Canadian Junior Championship 3 times. So those 3 years in 1985, 1986, 1987, I got to travel to the World Juniors, and those are the 3 years that I actually got lucky enough to meet Vishy at the World Juniors. The first year was in Sharjah in the United Arab Emirates. So that's the first time that I met him. I was 17, he was 15, and he didn't win the tournament that year, but he clearly was such a super talent, and I had a lot of fun with him. We played a lot of speed games, and I remember those days very fondly, a lot of ping pong. It was so hot. It was in September in 1985. It was 50 degrees.
Wow.
It was crazy hot. But yeah, that was the first time that I met him, and like I said, we had a lot of fun together, and I think he did very well in the tournament. That was won by Max Delugi, and then the next year I was lucky enough, I won our national title again, and I played in Norway, and that was in Gosdal, Norway, and Vishy was there as well, and he did well, but it wasn't his best performance, but I think he still did pretty well. I don't remember exactly where he finished, but that tournament was won by, I think it was won by Walter Arancibia from Cuba, and that was also a very fun tournament, and I think that actually put Gosdal on the map in terms of hosting chess events, because now, Norway's a powerhouse in chess.
Yeah, this
and
is Gosdal Classic now.
they have the Gosdal Classic, but I think at that time, the Gosdal World Junior was really, I think, the first big event that they had, so that was the foray into great things for Norway chess. And so Vishy and I played in that together. And then the third year was, I think, for Vishy, like just a pivotal moment in his chess career. And that was in Baguio City in the Philippines. That was in 1987. And Vishy just powered through that tournament. And it was a very strong tournament. And actually, that was my best performance, too. I think I tied for 6th through 10th.
Wow.
And Vishy, though, I think, if I remember correctly, had like 10 or 11 out of 13. I think 10 out of 13. And he won clear first, and very strong tournament. You had players like Piquet and Klinger from Austria, and the famous Simon Agdestein was playing in that, and I think he became Magnus's coach at some point as well. So it was just like a really fun tournament to be part of, and Vishy really shined in that, and so we became friends after that, and in fact we corresponded. There was no internet back then, so no email, but I have some letters that I've saved from Vishy over the years, and some great photographs and stuff, and he's just always been a very special person in my heart, and I'm glad that he's finally made it to Toronto. He's always promised me he'd come here, and he's always been too busy to come, but this is the first time I think he's actually been in Toronto, so it's been over 35 years since I've seen him, but it was great. He looks the same.
Was it the last time in Baguio that you met him?
Yeah, I think it was in Baguio, and after that, it was in 1995, I think he was playing Kasparov in the World Championship in New York, and my sister lives in New York, and I had made plans to go there for, I think, one of the final games, but I think the match ended early, and it was over before I actually got to go there and see him, so I didn't end up seeing him at that time. And then, of course, he had this meteoric rise to World Championship stardom and stuff, and became international superstar, which he deserved every bit of. And I'll just say that, back in the World Juniors, I remember playing so many speed games with him, and it was just so easy to see this immense talent, and so easy to see how different he was than almost anybody else.
Like, what was it in him that you felt? Of course, his speed is well known. Everyone
Yeah.
talks about it. But was there something that you felt particularly special about it?
I think he has always just been super sharp, great memory, great instinct, and just his ability to calculate things super fast has always been like just something that I have always remembered, and certainly out of my experiences in the World Juniors, he stood out so much compared to almost anybody else, even the ones that he didn't win. It was, I think, sometimes a case of him just actually thinking too fast and maybe overlooking one silly little thing, and then he put it all together, and Baggio got his Grandmaster norm, which, was at like age 17 or something, and then after that, he just took off, which was very easy to see happen. And he's just a great guy, and he deserves everything that he's ever gotten in the chess world and beyond. And I'm happy he's here. We'll get to hang out a little bit over the next couple of weeks, and yeah, it's just it's been a fun ride for me. My life took me in a completely different direction.
You became a doctor, is it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which field?
I'm a stomach specialist. So yeah, I ended up sort of saying goodbye to my chess career, which was probably very smart. I don't see myself.
But how strong were you when you were at your peak?
My FIDE rating got up to about 2350, and I think that the chances of me making a living at chess were pretty bad. I mean, when you talk to some of these professionals, it's like, even as good as they are, it's really hard to make a living. I mean, it's such a stressful thing to try to carve a career out of. And I think guys like Hikaru, who have actually been at the top of their game and top of the chess world, have looked for other paths to make a living, and he's done a brilliant job of that. And I think that you almost have to be creative, at least at this point in the chess world. It's very tough unless you're having the kind of success that Vichy's had, or of course Magnus or somebody like that. I think it's very difficult to actually make a comfortable living without the stress. Like, it's not good to have so much stress to pay your rent and stuff. That's not a thing I ever wanted to do. So besides, not really a good option for me. There were so many more talented players than me, but I was just happy to be a fly on the wall and get to meet some of these guys. In Baggio, my first game, round one, I played Simon Agdestein, as I mentioned before, and Agdestein is a legend too because of his soccer and chess dual prowess, and obviously he's parlayed that into some great things, and he was a really, really kind guy and a great person to get to meet and just briefly know, and so I've had that really good luck where I've gotten to meet some really good people out of the game, and Vichy's right on top of that list, right? So
amazing stories that you have. Just to sort of get your thoughts, like at some point when you met him at these World Juniors, Indian chess did not have a grandmaster, and let's say you were the best junior in Canada, and Vichy was the best junior in India. And now when we see, let's say 3 decades later, the way in which Indian chess has grown, how much would you say is Vichy's contribution over the years? Like, when you see it as someone you must have followed this entire
absolutely.
trend.
I mean, I don't think that you could quantify it. I think that there's no way that would have happened if it wasn't for Vichy. I mean, I think he single-handedly catapulted the chess, and it's one of those things that it's like a snowball effect, and I think that at some point it was even beyond his influence, but early on, I mean, his influence was tremendous, and you hear like Vishali and some of the other players, they talk about how he was such an inspiration for them, and so I think that pretty much says it all. Like, he was actually inspirational for me too. I never had the talent to go very far, but he was like just, so when you see talent like that and you get to be in the presence of talent like that, it really does affect you in a very positive way. And I think that these people that are playing chess in India in the early 2000s or the late 1990s, they're like, obviously affected by some incredible generational talent like Vishy. And the other thing is that he's such a approachable, nice guy that I think that made an enormous difference. Like, for a superstar like that to be somebody that you can talk to and get advice from, for them it must have been a tremendous benefit. And this is the first candidates, I think, where we're seeing that kind of end result, where there's 3 Indian players in the men's side alone, and a couple of women playing in this tournament. So I think that Vishy's probably responsible for all of that, but it's so hard to quantify. It's hard to say, but there's no question at all that he was a very, very special player, and phenomenal for Indian chess for sure.
Thank you for sharing these stories about Vishy, and also I wish you good time with him.
Thank
because,
you.
Meeting him after 3 decades
so long, yeah, absolutely.
must have been such a wonderful moment.
It absolutely was. Thank you for having me, and good luck to all the players. But the Indian players, they hold a special place in my heart too. And I think, it's so amazing to see their ages. They're so young, and there's, I think, a lot of great things for Indian chess in the future. So, yeah, it'll be good.
Thank you.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks.